Yes, yes,
Hey,
we are here. Hello,
hey.
everybody. Welcome to the Great Transition. I am seeing friends jumping on this broadcast already from Finland and
Is
Jacksonville,
Bangalore in
Florida,
Maine or in
Bangalore,
India?
Quebec, of course, Tenerife. Yes, some usual suspects here are first to appear on the TGT chat. Very nice. Very nice. All right. Yeah. There's some more places here. We're seeing you. So, yes, tell us where you are watching from. And as always, we will do a global check. If you are new here, if you're watching the recording, if this is the first time you are stumbling upon the great transition, we want to tell you you didn't just stumble. You found us because this is a very interesting stage in reality where people who feel that something is happening in the world find each other. There's this magnetic law that is working in nature that makes us find each other. So we're happy to welcome you. This is why we're here. We're here to discuss where the world is going. We also feel, just like you, that the world is going to some place that it has never gone before. It may be big and epic and scary, but we know that we are going through it together as a global human family. This is what's happening. As part of this process, we are discovering that we are one according to nature. Nature doesn't care too much about our politics, religion, culture, whatever differentiates us. So that's what we want to explore, how we are going through this great transition that all of humanity is going through in the 21st century. Where are we really headed, and how we can really uh, conceive of our interdependence, our oneness on this planet. How are you, brother?
Such a loaded question. I felt for way too many years that it's not the right
are,
answer. Oh, I'm
are
fine. How you doing? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
are
No,
you?
that doesn't happen.
Do you have like the sniffles a little bit or something, or you look a
I'm,
little?
I'm almost finished. My goal is to finish this book by the end of December. So I've been
Right,
up till
right.
like at least 2 a.m. like too
Mm,
many nights, and getting up, or like I'm verging on like 5 hours of sleep, and I used to be able to do it no problem, and
mm.
it's catching up to me a little. Maybe it's the winter too. I'm not sure.
Uh, but
Um,
okay, did you do your COVID test?
I did a COVID test. I'm cool. I'm cool.
Really? That's nice. That's good to know. You
Yeah,
didn't tell me.
yeah.
You didn't tell me.
Although the we don't know for sure if the tests actually work. I saw that,
All right.
so
What?
you
How
saw
do you mean
the
that
Elon
though?
Musk thing where he did like 4 tests, two were positive, two were negative.
There was some. I think someone told me, or there was an article. I got an update that there was some sort of a Twitter chat that Elon Musk had with some of his readers, where they were talking about like the efficiency of the tests or something like that. That's what you mean?
Yeah, yeah. So
So, okay. So what about it?
maybe we open this up even a little more later, but yeah, I mean my test came back negative, so I'm negative, so I'm all good. Although I have somebody that I work with whose test came back negative, but she was told to quarantine for 14 days by the doctor. I was told I'm
Even
negative,
though it
I'm
was
good,
negative, even though it was
even though it
negative.
was negative. Yeah,
So
yeah.
what does that mean? That means that the
I
doctors
just I
are
think it just means like
precautions, like
um
no, but
but you'll get this joke. There was like a guy who wanted to work on Saturday, so he kept going from rabbi to rabbi to find a rabbi who would like permit him to work on Saturday. I don't know. You just ask the right doctor. It's like depends on who you got. If you need a doctor's note, maybe he says you can stay home if you don't want. Anyway, um,
all right, all
but
right.
where am I
We
at? I'll tell you where I'm at. Um,
okay.
there's two simultaneous worlds that us Kabbalists are familiar with, and as a dad, we're familiar with it too. So you have a son. I have two sons. I keep talking about them.
Yeah.
On the one hand, want to like give them the world, and on the other hand, you can't. You have to like all the time be like, so on one hand you're like
Right. You
generous
don't want
and
to
loving and
spoil
kind.
them, which let's to keep it simple, you don't want to spoil them, even though there's way more into that. Education is
Yeah,
like is everything,
education
basically.
and physical ability for it. So that's kind of like where we're at as a world. On the one hand, it's like we already understand what's happening, where we're going. At least some people are starting to understand it. On the other hand,
Uh-huh.
because we're still in life and didn't get to that process, like the fruit is not fully ripe yet, we're still living as if it's the old world, right? We're still living in all of these, as far as our work go, we're still punching the clock. Maybe it's virtual.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
anyway, yeah. So a lot of things on my mind, man. This vaccine is coming out in the UK, so
Right,
we'll
right.
see
We
how that
wanted to
goes.
talk about that. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. Okay. So yeah, you're segueing. Can you say segueing? You're
seguin.
segueing. You're segueing us nicely into that. Okay. Let's discuss that. Let's see what's up with that. So yes, the can you see this?
Yep.
UK is the first country to approve the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine with distribution to start next week. Dun, 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 dun.
Okay, so it's over.
All right. Are we done?
Our show is
Are,
finished.
are we
That's
down with
it.
COVID?
Thank
No.
you, everybody.
That,
It's been great knowing you.
it was a nice run. Was a nice run, everybody. We're probably over, and the world's gonna go back to normal. Here, you know what? I wrote that quote somewhere. Okay, whatever. But there. Boris Johnson said that I looked into, like, some of the what's happening in the UK, and he said it's the protection of vaccines, something like that. It's the protection of vaccines that will ultimately allow us to reclaim our lives and get the economy back. That's the
Mm.
big statement. So here's what's funny about it. I mean, we'll get into the vaccine in a more kind of like uh, detailed way, but just to kind of start it off, that hit me in a certain way, because I remember when COVID just began, the UK's main thing was we don't need any vaccine and we don't need any lockdown. What we should do is just, rely on herd immunity. And he was a big proponent of that. Then he got sick himself, if you remember, and he was treated and he recovered and everything. And now he says only vaccines. This is what's going to work, and make sure we're going to get our economy back. So it's funny to see how glued we are to just thinking about this whole change that is happening in a very superficial way. There is a
Well, think
problem,
about it also in terms
yeah.
of the kids again. It's such a good example because if you are planning a vacation, right? Imagine it's the old world and you're planning a vacation and you're going to take the kids skiing. I don't know. You're going to take the kids to the beach, whatever.
Sounds great.
So you and the wife, you're finding airline tickets. You're finding a place to stay. You're thinking about food, saving money, all this stuff. But to the kids, right? All you're saying is, guys, get ready. We're going to get in the car. Okay, bring your coloring book. Bring your book.
Yeah,
All you do is you give the kids like one tiny step. You who see the big picture, you already know how long the ride's going to take, what we're going to do when we get there. I'm packing
that's right.
snacks, the
Okay.
hotel. We're going to go to Disney World on Tuesday. We're going to do this on Wednesday, right? But to the kids, all it is make sure you have your book for the car ride. Okay, make sure you buckle your seat.
So you parentingly censoring information from your kids. Sure.
Well, I mean, what
No,
what
no,
it
of course,
seems
of
to me
course. Yeah.
is the messaging that keeps coming out on the virus is like what you would do to little children. Like, this will be gone in by Valentine's Day. This will be gone by the spring. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
come around the corner and we're gonna have a stimulus package, and then this, and it's just enough to give the kids like enough to just shut up, and what does he say? Boris Johnson declared that the nation is no longer resting on the hope of a return to normality by spring, but instead a certain knowledge that people can reclaim their lives as he hailed the arrival of a newly approved COVID vaccine. He has certain knowledge that people, yeah, thanks, Chris. Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Jones. So, um,
No,
yeah,
okay.
that's just it. It's a promise, which in 6 months from now, if he's totally wrong, he'll just say something else.
Right.
So it's important to see their how the progression in the media not in the media. Leave the media out. The progression that's given to the public and the progression of the people who kind of know what's going on, and then of course we're talking about an even bigger picture than that.
Okay, we'll get to the bigger picture, but let's take it step by step for a second. Let's talk about, just the vaccine itself, and will it work? Will it work? Will it prove successful? Like, what's gonna happen? 2020 already showed us that reality can play tricks on us very, very quickly and very easily, right? I mean, okay, look, I'm not a doctor, but I do have a little bit of background in medicine from the IDF, so I don't look at these things, these announcements that come out on the mainstream media as like the final kind of verdict. I kind of dig in a little bit more, and it's quite easy for me to just look into what research has been published, what information beyond the big headlines is actually out there. And it's very clear, it's just a matter of like looking at finding some doctor who knows how these things actually work and seeing what they say about it. You can hear, there's Professor Nicholas Christakis, who is very interesting guy, by the way. He's also in my film. He's both a doctor and like an epidemiologist and a sociologist, which he wrote a fascinating book about how we're all connected, and he actually did one of the most groundbreaking researches on this. But on the topic of COVID-19, recently on the Rogan show, he said, of course, this is great progress, this Pfizer vaccine. Of course, this is something, but something that is good if we're looking at a vaccine as a solution. Medically, this is progress, but and this is a professional doctor who understands how these things work and understands the research behind it and what we actually know and what we don't know. And very clearly, he tells us, that we don't really know if it blocks transmission. We just don't know. It may be that people are still, carrying the virus even after they get the vaccine, and they just don't show symptoms because that's what the vaccine might be doing. So we don't know if it blocks transmission. We don't know if it works on very severe cases. We don't know if it works with specific demographics. Like pregnant women, children, people of different ethnicities. There are differences, in our biology. There's just not enough information yet. We don't even know for how long it works. We don't know much about the severity and of the side effects and the duration of them. So, and yet, this is a medical progress. It's not like something completely weird is being thrown out to the public. But the real question is, I don't want to help me be cautious here, Seth. How do we say this? How do we talk about this topic in a way that I don't want us to come off as anti-vaxxers or as pro or against. I want to talk about the phenomenon of what is happening right now in 2020. There is there is a worldwide pandemic changing the face of humanity, as if rushing to change so many things, and we are trying to solve it with a vaccine, which is not a bad thing to do. But are we, what I want to talk about is, are we ignoring the bigger effects of this phenomenon and the bigger message? And if we are in a natural system where everything's connected, people, viruses, and everything in between, then is it possible that if we just focus on the vaccine and whether it works or not, and whether it takes us back to our economy as quickly as possible and to everything we knew 10 months ago or whatever, if we focus just on that, is it possible that we are killing the messenger instead of reading the message? Is it possible that and I'm going to take it even further, is it possible that if we actually are missing the message here and are trying to kill the messenger, we might even be inviting upon ourselves more harsher balancing forces from the natural system. We got to start looking at everything that's happening in
What do you
this.
mean by that? So suppose,
Yeah,
well, okay. Let's take away as many variables. In science, you always have to isolate the variables, right? You can't
sure.
have 20 variables in an experiment because then you have no way of validating what
Yep,
you're trying to test. Okay.
sure.
So let's take away all the variables and let's just say you have all the money you need and you have all the time you need, and then
Great.
you can test the vaccine, right? Time
Okay.
is not an issue, money is not an issue, and we're going to test this coronavirus vaccine. So in a couple of years from now, we'll know what the side effects are. We'll know how who it works on, who it doesn't work on. We'll have the opportunity to to
No, 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 no. Wait, I want to respond to that. You just
okay, go
you
ahead.
just you just challenge me. See, this is a great question. This is a great thought exercise. If you have all the money, you have all the time, you can stop reality, use all the resources you need, right? That's what you're saying. And you have like a laboratory world where you can experiment to make sure that this vaccine works or whatever. Then how do you handle it? Yeah? I think
Yeah,
that's
take because right now the problem is they're rushing it out, right?
this is
And
clearly an experiment. Look, even again, the
but I don't
same.
want to we don't want to judge it yet. We just want to look at it at it as objectively as possible. So as objectively as possible, take away
Yeah.
the anything that take away anything that has to do with politics, take away anything that has to do with an election, who it benefits, when the announcements are, stock prices,
Yes.
just just honest medicine for the
Okay.
well-being of people.
Okay. What do I do? Here's what do I do. First of all, um, this is clearly right now, like you said, it's rushed. There's all kinds of incentives in
No,
our.
no, I didn't say that. I said, what if it wasn't rushed?
No,
What
no.
if we had money?
Okay.
What
So
if
I
there
would
wasn't
do.
politics?
So I would first of all, I would do all of the experiments without any in a parallel world, right? Without any
Mhm.
pressure, all the trials, not cutting corners, not rushing any decisions, not putting the scientists and the people who are working on engineering the mass production of it and the mass distribution of it, not putting them under any pressure of resources so they can just do their work in the most efficient way. Of course, that's what I would do. But there is more than that. That's where your world view comes into play. I would look into not just the biological level. I would look into, for instance, again, in a perfect world where I can run all the experiments I can, right? And there's no problem of money and time. I would examine whether people uh, can be more resilient to the virus, whether people can. I understand it sounds a little far fetched, but I would examine whether people can live with without being harmed by the virus if they are changing the way they relate to each other.
This would
Okay,
be
so
incredible. Take a small group of people
yeah,
and give them the ideal conditions to be able to just work. You give
exactly.
them a class every morning. You feed them a beautiful breakfast in the morning. They do some activity. They have time to go outside and read. No stress. You pay them. You pay make sure their families are even they can bring their families, and they wake up in the morning. They learn after breakfast and a nice walk. They learn about cooperation. They learn about nature. Maybe study some animals.
Yes.
Look at
No
learn about
stress.
weather.
No,
No
no, no,
stress.
no
And
attempt
then
to. They're not
and
in
then
an
after,
environment where they try to hoard each
yeah,
other's resources or compete for some. They could play games. They can do projects together where they each use their unique capabilities and talents and whatever. But it's all collaborative. It's all supportive. It's all a positive climate that they're in. Yes, that's what I
let
would do.
it, and then after maybe a week, you let the people you take it from 10 feet of social distance to 6 feet of social distance, and you keep going, and everyone keeps becoming more
No,
friendly
I
towards
would
each
just do
other.
it. I do a control group where you examine people who are not in that environment, and and you compare that to this group who are in this positive environment, connected environment, right? And
Yeah.
you just you run the statistics of what it means. What is the percentage a probability of infection here and probability of infection there, and you start at a point where the probability is similar or something like that. We have our friend Dr. Guy Tzchakov, who's a great empirical researcher. He'd help with how to set it up. But let's say we set it up and you get to you bottom line, you want to see whether a positive connected environment among human beings at different kind of relationships essentially lowers the infection rate, the morbidity rate, the mortality rate, and yeah, that's the kind of experiment I do. And people might ask, what are you relying on? But uh, it is a known thing that our immune system responds to how positively we are connected to our environment, to
There's
positive. Yeah.
truckloads of tests of experiments on how people respond to disease by
Yes.
being happy. How prayer, forget about it, doesn't even matter what you're praying to. You can pray to a tree, but just to have this kind of faith that you're going to get better, the power of the mind, the power of good thoughts, the power of cooperation, the power of laughter. There was that doctor, I think Robin
Yeah.
Williams did a movie about that doctor who made his patients laugh and how it helped their healing. And alternatively, if you're depressed and if you're sad and if you're lonely, they even bring pets into hospitals, because if a person can feel that, even from an animal, could you imagine how much more from a human who can speak to you, can understand you, even from an
Yes.
animal, it can help you, a cat, a dog, it can help you heal better.
And
So
there's a reason why we have a friend, what's his name? We have a friend here, him, Alan. It's like you can say Alan, but it's not really Alan. You have to like
Alain,
pronounce
it's like French.
Alan French. Yes, he's French, and he is how do you call that profession? Like a
Clown.
medical clown. Medical clown.
Oh,
It's
really?
probably not the right. If you guys, if you know in the chat here, what's the right way to the right
It's a
title for this
medical
profession?
clown. It
So
doesn't sound
he's a
like the right
yeah,
title.
and he will tell you that he goes. They invite him. It works more on children, but it's not because uh, you know um, children's biology is different. It's because they allow themselves to accept. They more easily they accept that kind of treatment, so to speak. So it should work on us as well, adults. It's just that we've become like it's not even legitimate. We're too jaded. We're too like how would you say that? We won't take that as a serious kind of thing, but it's a known thing that your psychological state hugely affect your physical situation. But I want to there's something even more specific. Yeah, Chris is just pulling up something there. The surprising health benefits of love. Yeah, there's tons of that. But Chris,
It's well
there
known. Yeah.
there's something, yeah, well known, well documented, especially in the last 20, 30 years, connection of health and positive connections between people. And that's what we're so missing in 2020. But there's something even more specific just recently from the last few months. Chris, see if you can pull it up. Something about oxytocin and specifically COVID-19. There is some evidence suggesting that that more oxytocin means more resilience to or more immunity to COVID-19. Anyway, so oxytocin's anti-inflammatory and pro-immune functions in COVID-19 and transcriptomic signature-based approach. Yeah, they also have some conclusions that it does play a major role. There's you'll be able to find it if you look for it.
On,
So
on
yeah.
the other side of the story, there is what I so from what I understand, I didn't read all of the literature, but that the vaccine companies don't have any liability. For example, if people die from the vaccine, they won't be held liable. There can't be some kind of class action suit, or the UK won't be able to sue them. So the agreement is, listen, I'm going to give you all these vaccines, but you have to understand it's not tested. And so if things
Mm-hmm.
happen, we can't be held liable.
Yeah.
So, it's like I'm going to invest money here, and if I make money, it's good, and if I lose money, I don't have to pay. It's like, so when you have
the
transactions like that,
nature
it
the
people,
nature of our world, isn't it?
so
And you're talking about the health of humanity, and these are the calculations that we're making because that's how the world is built, that's how the
right.
system
And so
is
so
set
what
up.
I understood also is that it could be mandatory in the UK. I think they also said it might be I think Bright sent something that said it may be mandatory. So it
Mandatory injections,
mandatory
mandatory.
injection. Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay.
And what does it mean mandatory? Well, right now it might not mean anything because you might not leave your house. I mean, I guess they could come to your house, but at some point you could say you can't go back to school without it, or you can't go, you have to wear maybe a yellow star. I don't know. You can't go into the shopping mall. You can't go into the shopping mall without your star. You can't go into maybe it'll be microchip, who knows. You can't go into a restaurant without your identification card that says you have um, I don't know if it's an identification card. Who knows? And now everything can be. I mean, with the U.S. election, it's like you can't trust anything anyway. It could be fake ID. The black market. Who knows on the black market on the vaccine, for example? How do you even know
Oh, I
that
saw
the
something about that.
vaccine that you're going to have is going to be a real vaccine and not a
Dude,
black
dude,
marketed
I
vaccine and
that's
just some
exactly,
who knows what?
yes. Check this out. There you go. Can you see this? Yeah.
Yeah,
I put this link here in case
I
this will
just
be
opened up like
relevant.
10
That,
different Pandora's boxes
yeah.
in like 1 minute. So
No, but here is one of them. But here, yeah. So Interpol says COVID vaccine will be liquid gold to organized crime. So basically, it doesn't say a lot, but they came out with this announcement that basically says, in our world, when we have a vaccine, and a lot of people want it, and there's not a lot of it, it's probably gonna make some crime happen. So let's just be aware of that. But that is a real issue, right? Like you can have. But by the way, I have a question. How do they? How is it possible? I understand making uh, illegitimate or illicit, vaccines and trying to sell them. I understand
mhm.
that how that crime can happen. How will it? How will they hoard authentic shots, and how will they get a
Oh, if
hold
they're
of?
going to send, if someone's going to send um 20 million vaccines somewhere,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
got to
but
go in many different
so
trucks.
you're talking about stealing the vaccines?
Oh, yeah, you just steal. They would,
That's
they has to
but
go on,
that's
has to,
that's what I don't understand. So, doesn't it
it
make
has
you
to
think?
move from a lab somewhere
It
to
does. I think that,
distribution points,
right. I
all in
think
all different cities everywhere. So some
sure.
truck is supposed to, there's supposed to be
They produce it in
30,000
Belgium.
vaccines that are, what?
Sure, I'm saying, yeah, I understand what you're saying about transportation. They produce it in Belgium right now for the UK. Then from Belgium, it's going to go to the UK in refrigerators or something like that. I get that,
Yeah,
but
plenty of places to
I
switch
don't
hands.
understand the logic of the crime. You understand what I'm asking? Let's say you and I are going to rob that truck. Okay.
So where are you going to sell them?
Yeah. Like, how does that? How does
Oh, come
what?
on, come on, come
What
on.
on the
Don't be so
dark?
naive.
No,
Don't
but
be
on the
so
no,
naive,
but
please.
who's gonna buy a
No, brother, you're not giving enough credit to the criminals. It will be sold in the same stores. You won't know the difference. It's not like you're going to buy it on the street corner. It's not going to be sold underneath a bridge.
so take me through the steps of this
It's
crime.
sold. It's as white collar crime, man. This is big time stuff. This is not like on the street corner. It just gets somebody sells it to somebody else and it goes into all the pharmacies or it goes into wherever. You don't know if
Yeah,
it's
but the pharmacies, which are legit, legit distributors of the drug,
okay,
where
so
they
listen,
have to get it
there's
from the robbers, from the
we'll
thieves
I'm
somehow.
sure that these as far as we go into the wisdom of Kabbalah, I'm sure that the thieves are also that deep in their business and their profession, and I'm sure they are experts and they will
Okay.
come up with
Anyway.
ways, and we will be surprised again at how clever and how good they are. You know what my dad told me when I was starting a business? He said, "Son, you know how you can tell a good crook?" I said, "How, Dad?" He goes, "You can't, because he's good."
Right.
If you could tell. It's not that
Okay.
good.
So
So
look, okay, let I get it. I'm sure it can happen. I'm just like, I need to get to study more what's the criminology? Anyway.
yeah.
Yeah. So maybe we'll bring some criminologists on the show to explain to us. But okay, but even forget about the bad guys. There is a serious problem of trust, right? So the World Health Organization says, I think they call it, they say like in parallel to the pandemic, we also have an infodemic. Like their whole thing is we're afraid that people won't take the vaccines because social media is rife with all the reasons and the theories and whatever about
Okay,
deterring
so everyone
people from
everyone in
taking
the United
vaccines.
States is supposed to be listening to Dr. Fauci. You probably heard the name Dr. Fauci.
Right? Yeah. Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so Dr. Fauci said that they rushed the UK vaccine. That was a story that I saw this morning.
See.
Okay, so
Right.
how do you so the UK, thank you, Chris. The UK comes out, says it's time.
Fauci
Fauci says the
says the
UK
UK.
rushed the approval of the corona vaccine.
Okay.
Okay, so Dr. Fauci criticized the United Kingdom for rushing through the authorization process for the coronavirus vaccine. Okay, um, so the government's telling me it's okay, but this guy who we're all supposed to trust is telling me it's not okay. I that this is
Yeah.
this is
Yeah.
causing so much anxiety for everyone, this information pandemic, because I don't know who to believe in my life about anything. Are they
Yeah.
telling me this to get elected? Are they telling me this because I don't know who to believe? I don't know. And not even that, Asaf. I don't know if it's what's going on in your country. In this country, it, you can't even see all the stories like we knew before. Things were kind of censored, but today you can't. Everything, the big tech is so censoring. Facebook, Twitter, and Google are uniting to stop vaccine misinformation. Okay, well, hopefully Facebook, Twitter, and Google are not motivated by money and not motivated by power, and they're just motivated by the best interest and the health of everyone. And so then that's great to hear. I'm glad they're teaming up to spread love in the world.
Yeah, David Mancini is asking, yeah, with all of this confusion, we can't trust anyone with this stuff. Who can you trust? Yeah, exactly. I think that summarizes it so well. This is really getting to the core. Again, are we trying to kill the messenger instead of reading the message? This is another thing that is happening here. See, when we just talked about our ideal COVID vaccine development scenario, we approached it from a holistic perspective that looks at not just the biology and physiology but also the psychology and sociology, right? We have to see the whole natural system as one thing. And the fact of the matter is, here you go, maybe you have a vaccine, maybe it even works great, but you have I don't know. I think I saw a survey that says like 70% or 50% of the public are not trusting it. And the real question that you got to ask yourself in 2020 is, can you blame them? And the answer is unequivocally no. You cannot blame, just like David was just saying in the chat, you cannot blame anyone today for not trusting anything. This is how, how discombobulated our picture of reality has become. No one has a coherent. It's very hard to explain to your kids today, what's happening, feeling confident. you know, you know what I mean? Here's a funny thing. I don't know if it's 100% related, but it happened 2 hours ago. So I went into the living room. I'm like, oh boy, like a pile of stuff, like toys and all kinds of repurposed toys and all sorts of things that are not supposed to be toys. All of that on the floor. Like, there's like nowhere to go around. And my son is like, hmm. like, I did that. So he's like 9-year old, and he goes like, Daddy, you know what I'm doing? And I'm like, okay, how much time do I have? Let's hope because I want to talk to him and like all that, but not always. I'm like, okay, this is a sit down. I got to sit for a few minutes here to, he's really excited. And he goes like, honest to God, this is what's happening. He goes like, I am, I'm, I'm, I just, I'm making this is a war. This is a war.
Mm,
And I'm like, oh, really? What is this war about? He's like, I'm, I'm, this is how do you say it? Like a play craft? How do you, when you set up a play, when you set,
scene.
yeah, the scene, I'm like, this is the scene of the end of the world.
Oh God,
I
how old
honest,
is he?
9. He's 9. Like he
Wow.
almost 9, 8.5. He's like, I, and now I got really interested. Now check this out. Check this out. He goes, I understand now why it's relevant. It's coming to me. Give me a moment here to organize my thoughts. So he goes, Daddy, I'm making the end of the world. Look. And I'm asking him, okay, so tell me
Oy.
more. Like what's happening here? And he goes, these are the bad guys and these are the good guys. And I'm like, okay, so it's another, like, it's a good bad guys kind of scenario. I don't know where it comes from, like Minecraft, the Minecraft he's playing. Oh, it's something like that. And then he goes like, there's really just bad one bad force, that all the other bad guys are just messengers. And I'm like, okay, but so why are the good guys not fighting the bad guy, the real bad guy, or the bad god, or whatever? He's like, because they're not seeing him. He's like, he's sending all the other guys, but they're not seeing him. So they're actually fighting each other. Like the bad guys are not even bad. They're just, they're just not seeing what's operating them in his mind, and the good guys are fighting with the other guys because they're not seeing who's operating them as well. And I, so I'm thinking about this now, and I'm like, look at what's happening to us, right? Look at what's happening to us. There is this pandemic, and we are, now you're going to have like black market crime happening around it. There's distrust and mistrust, and companies are fighting each other, competing each other in order to, to be on top here. Countries too are in conflict around this thing and all that. And we are fighting each other, not understanding each other, because we are missing that one kind of invisible force or enemy that actually is separating us. And that is, our own lack of connection to each other, our own, separative ego. You know what I mean? Like there was something in that situation that reminded me that. Anyway.
Imagine if the if these different parties cooperated. I mean, how it just seems so unrealistic to even imagine that, for example, in the United States, like Trump and Biden would cooperate with each other, or the Republicans and the Democrats would cooperate with each other, or that the good guys and the bad guys in that scene would understand who's operating um, everything. If everyone would just kind of shut their mouths and just try and get along with each other,
Yes,
it
thank
really
you.
wouldn't matter who's the president. It wouldn't, because we would naturally, sometimes it's raining and we dress like this and behave like this, and sometimes it's sunny and we dress like this and act like this. And without rain, life is bad, and without sun, life is bad. And the problem we're having now, one of the big problems, I mean, the media is just doing such a horrible disservice to everybody. But the leaders, it's like in rock music, feedback is like when you have your electric guitar. If you get close to the amp, the sound from the guitar goes into the amp. The sound from the amp comes out, hits the
Yeah.
pickups on the guitar, and it keeps cycling and gets louder and louder. This like feedback until you could like
Right.
blow the speaker, break your eardrums or whatever. There's like a feedback loop happening because recently there's just been a barrage of these kind of things where a senator, a governor, the governor of New York, not Mario Cuomo, what's his name? Cuomo. I think Mario was the father. The
What?
son
New
is the
York,
governor.
governor of New York?
I don't,
Isn't it?
yeah,
De
this is it. Yeah,
Isn't
there
it
you go.
the mayor? The mayor is De
Whatever.
Blasio. Okay. Yeah. Whatever.
No, this is not. This is Cuomo. This is the governor of New York. So here
Right.
he is he shut down all of the businesses. People aren't allowed to be near each other. And here he is without telling everyone to wear a mask. Kids can't go to school, and then there he is without a mask hugging somebody. Right? It's
Yeah.
like it hurts the brain. Okay, and then you have oh my God, there's so many of these. Chris, help me out. What was the other ones? They just okay. We know everyone knows this one. Nancy Pelosi from she's the head of the Speaker of the House, the United States Senate, Nancy Pelosi. She's telling you got to close down the businesses. Everybody's got to be safe. Everyone's got to stay at home. Close down all of the beauty salons, and then there's footage of her going into a beauty salon with no mask, whatever. It was a stunt that doesn't matter. The message that the children, that the people are getting is that the politicians are shutting my business down. Politicians are making my kids stay at home. The politicians, I have no way of supporting myself, and yet they are not following these rules. The governor of California Gavin Newsom, and we're talking about not specific people here, everybody. We don't care if people are Republicans or Democrats. We're just talking about these
Yeah.
phenomenon.
Just the phenomenon that on whatever side of the aisle you see the elected
Okay, so there's the
officials.
governor of California, the tall, handsome
That
guy on the left.
Yeah.
He shut down. There's a curfew in California. Businesses are closed. Kids can't go to school, and yet there he is out to dinner without a mask with more than 10
Right.
people or 6 people that you're supposed to be with, right? So it's I don't know. I guess it would kind of be like telling your kids to be nice to each other and then constantly fighting with your spouse in front of the kids, or like telling your kids not to hit and then you get mad and you smack the kid in the face. It's like at a certain point there's all of this cognitive dissonance, and the
Yeah.
child just doesn't feel safe. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what's going on, and that's what's happening. It's this like it's a crisis. Really, it's an emotional crisis for the nation. It's an emotional crisis for the world. People don't know what to believe. We don't know who to trust. It's on the back of the vaccine. It's on the back of the United States election. It's on the back of okay, here we go. China. Oh yeah, China had the United States is approaching 300,000 deaths. China only has 4,000 deaths. Really?
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Seriously?
No, it's
No, it's lies. Everything's
so
lies.
okay. Yeah. So in I think you nailed it when you said cognitive dissonance. This is the problem. You cannot build trust. Trust is something you build, right? What is trust? Trust is when I know your intentions are good for me. That's trust. It's that I don't look at your actions, or behind your actions I see your intentions, and I trust that they're good. So even if you do actions that are forcing me to be uncomfortable, inconvenient, change my habits, I trust that your intentions are good for me. That's the whole thing with trust. It requires us to build a connection between us that enables us to go beyond what we do into a level of why we do it, what we do it for. Trust has to do with a level of intentionality that exists on the human level, you
If
know?
you
And
if you
that's
and I
the
have a
real
call scheduled,
crisis. That's the real crisis we're seeing here. Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, if you and I had a call scheduled, or if I heard, oh, Asaf, called Seth a jerk or whatever,
Yeah,
you and I already have such a deep relationship and such a long term that those things, maybe his phone died. I'm not like, oh, this guy, he's not calling me. He doesn't like me. He's not.
Yeah.
No, oh, maybe his phone died. Maybe he's busy with his kids. Maybe something came up. I'm coming up with 1,000 reasons to justify you because I trust you because we already have that bond together, right? Oh, Asaf called Seth this. Well, I know Asaf. Maybe he said it in passing. Maybe he was talking about something dumb I did. Maybe he didn't even say it at all. But it doesn't matter. When you have trust with people, all of these things that otherwise are causing all of these problems in society, they would just wouldn't mean anything. But yet now it's like every opportunity on every single detail, it turns into a whole war.
So okay, so let's go. I see some Noah Moore is asking, COVID is a messenger, but its message is being manipulated by the media. So what's the real message, and what is hiding behind COVID? And
Mm.
there's more interesting questions, but let's
Okay.
deal with this one.
Thank you, Noah Moore on
Yes,
YouTube.
thank you.
Great question. Thank you everybody for being with us. It's such an important time. And now because of Noah's question, I guess we can open this up. We're not here to give commentary on the news. We're here to talk about, what's going on, but behind the scenes, so to speak. So, we can really kiss that virus, give that virus a hug because it's all part of nature's plans here. We're not saying, oh, look how people behave. How dare them? Oh, look at how the governor of California behaved. How dare them? No, all that's happening now is through the virus, we are revealing, we are revealing what's really in people's hearts. We are revealing how much our politicians are built on lies and greed. Our businesses are built on lies and greed. Our lives are built on lies and greed. And for this, we can thank the virus. We wouldn't be able to reveal. It's like an animal doesn't have to uh, reveal these things could never be revealed inside of an animal. In us now, because of all these things that are happening, all of this stuff that was inside of us is being revealed. Look at the nature of humanity that's been revealed through the process of this, and because it's being revealed, thank God it was revealed. Now we know what our real problem is. Now we know where we can go for a solution. If we never revealed the problem, we could just remain living like a dog our whole life. Go out, get something to eat, come back home, go to sleep. Go out, get something to eat. And that was the whole life. Now we
Yes.
revealed a big, big breaking. We revealed something we couldn't even believe. What a mess we revealed. And now we have the opportunity to find. Now we can go through a great transition and arrive at something uh, beyond our wildest dreams.
Yes. And it's happening on two levels at the same time. I mean, COVID is showing us, if we read the message, if we go beyond, oh, there's a problem, let's find the vaccine and, fix the problem, go back to what we were. So it's, if we go beyond that, if we understand that nature is a single interconnected system, if we understand that we are in that system, part of it, not in control of it, we are bound by its laws as well, then there's two trends that are becoming revealed, like you said. One is that here's our nature. This is what we are towards each other. We've grown to a point where there is a a extreme dissonance uh, uh, between us. And on the other hand, we're also dependent on each other. We are completely interdependent. We are a global network, the global human network, the global human family. We are connected to each other, and our well being is interdependent. And if that's the case, then we have to find beyond just a vaccine. And again, I want to make it clear, we're not, here to tell you to go get the vaccine or not get the vaccine and all that. We're here to tell you that if you look from a global, holistic, connected perspective, then you see this COVID as not a random, anomalous kind of problem that we need to solve on a biological level. It's just a symptom of a systemic kind of change that we need to go through. And that change is becoming conscious of our interconnection and beginning to live in balance with it. And until we do that, nature is only going to push us and nudge us in this direction, and it may hurt even more than what we're seeing right now. So that's what we need to get into our hearts, into our minds in 2020. I would say that we depend on each other. That's the first step.
So Kiko in Egypt, which is a totally different culture, totally different lifestyle than a Western culture like I'm living in here. It's, different religion, different
Yeah.
politics, everything. So I'm not sure what it's like to be on the ground in Egypt, but I'm sure that some of these things must be some of these inner processes that we're going through are the same. But so she asked a question: how do we implement these connections? How do
Right.
we create a stress-free society?
Yes, yes. So first of all, yes, thank you for helping us clarify that. This is what COVID is showing us. This is the huge part of the message. We are dependent, and we need to discover our connection on a deeper level. We need to explore the inner space between us, the relationship, that level of distrust that we are now discovering, that we just talked about, is a level of intentions that human beings have towards each other. That's the space we need to enter. That's the space we need to explore. That's where we need to fix the problem. Now, how do we fix it? We don't fix it by ourselves. This is another thing. We practically just need to want it to happen, to activate our desire for this to take place. And then what will happen is, just like Seth explained with just like you talked about the guitar and the amplifier and the feedback loop,
Feedback.
the
Yeah.
feedback loop from nature is what we need to activate. This is what we're
Yeah.
telling you here. We are in a closed system. The viruses, they're not random. Everything that happens in this system, it's not random. It is always moving towards greater connection, greater conscious connection, to be specific about human evolution. So if we want to solve the problem, we have to get in line with the program. We have to be in line with where evolution is pushing us. All
Mm-hmm.
that means is we need to sound the right signal, to activate our desire. Human
It's like
desires,
the the,
human
the
thoughts, yeah, are the
the
biggest thing
radio
in the system.
signal is in the room. If you tune to the right signal, you receive it, or you go to the right. Yeah, using these analog examples, I realize nobody probably even knows what a radio is. But
Not
yeah,
anymore,
we
but yeah.
don't at this point. It's still, it's like a fruit along its ripening. We don't need to run out and do many things with our hands and feet yet. The first thing is to understand what is going on, what system we're in, how does the system work, and let's go to a minute to the global check, just to touch base with all the friends who are around the world who are in this flow with us. And Chris Brighton, I see you there. I think I saw you also in Cub on the forum there, so that's exciting. So hello, Chris Brighton, wherever you are in the world. Um, yeah, very cool. Okay, Denmark, Finland, Florida, Bangalore, which I think is in India, although there's a city with a similar name here in the northern United States. So I think that's India, though. So hello from all the way over there. Minnesota, Quebec, Tenerife, Egypt, Haikiko, North Carolina, Arkansas, Miami, Utah, Toronto, Congo. Wow. Dominican Republic, Sweden, Singapore. Unbelievable. Hello. Nairobi, Rochester, New York, St. Louis, Missouri, Belgium, Netherlands, Puerto Rico, Vienna, Austria, Greece, Ohio, West Java, Indonesia. Whoa, DC, El Salvador, England, and Scotland. Hello, everybody. That is just incredible. We're super happy that you're with us here.
Yes.
Thank you.
Seth, I feel we need to. We have 2 minutes here. In our TGT clock here for today. Um, First of all, thank you everybody for being with us. I know that we probably didn't answer a lot of questions today, just a few, and there were probably more that we missed. We are working on capturing these questions, and we will try to do sessions where we focus on them and bring them back. So if you want us to talk about something specific, if you have a suggestion for a topic or a question you'd like us to delve into and get into a conversation about it together in the live show, then it's always a good idea to add that in a comment below the show. It's just way easier for us to be on top of those. So definitely do that. I also want to say I see a bunch of people who are, this show is syndicated on several channels right now. So if you want to be in touch with us and connect to both of the live shows we do twice a week, Sunday and Thursday. If you want to be notified when we produce these clips from the shows and other things that will follow, then make sure that you go ahead and subscribe to the Great Transition channel. So you'll find that in the bit.ly link that is right now on the screen. So if you're not on this channel right now, it would be a good idea to go there right now to bit.ly/the Great Transition. Chris, if you can throw the link also in the chats, that'll be good so people can just click it. So then you can just go click subscribe, and then you'll be with us whenever we are on. So yeah, final words, brother, for today. What do you say? I can't hear you. You're muted.
Um,
Yeah.
all of these things that we point out, remember, let's not believe in ourselves so much. I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean, let's remember that we're part of a huge, huge system, right? Like, we don't have to fight Earth. We don't have to fight half of humanity. We are all part of the same system. We are part of the same family. We're going to discover that more and more. It feels opposite. It's like before a drowning person dies, he's like grabbing, he's like, I'll pull anyone down. It's like this old world is like grasping for its last breath. This is normal. All of the things that are happening now as we go through this transition, all of these things need to be revealed, but we can already see how is this happening, that we just started talking about these things, and people from all around the world somehow who have this desire in their heart just found this somehow. um, just let's be no throughout the week, no tomorrow, no the next day. If you wake up and you're feeling upset, or the next day when you're feeling, no, there's other people. We're in this together. We're all thinking about each other. We're all thinking about this good future together. We will get through this together. The power of our thoughts, the power of our connection is way stronger than animal powers, than animal forces. And these are the things that are going to start to transform our world. So be confident, be in it, and we'll see you again soon. Thanks, Asaf. And
Thank
thanks,
you.
Chris. Thank you, everyone.
I also want to say a heartfelt thank you to everyone who's here, and a heartfelt
And Denise, who's helping us out.
and Denise, Chris, and all of the yeah. But I also want to say something. Even if you feel, the people who are here, we need to feel each other as pioneers, because our world has to change. Humanity has to rise to a new level. It's not even a question. Even when we feel a little disconnected, we are, I know it sounds a little bit new to some people, but think about how you're feeling this for the world, for everyone. What you're going through, what we are going through, if we're working on connection, we are going through something that all people are going through as well, or will have to go through consciously, more or less. It's a very interesting process. We'll talk about it more in future episodes. All I want to say really is, you know, we're together in this. This is the essence of the great transition. We're going through it together. Seth, what do you got for us? Let's boogie.
This one was, you can hear Tosh on here. He produced it, and our friend Jürgen from Germany wrote this one. Bye, everyone. We'll see you, what's today's Thursday? We'll see you Sunday, 2 p.m. Eastern. Big hug.
Sunday.
We'll put the link to the playlist in the chat here in a minute.